It's a weekend edition of News Tonight. My name is Kweku, joining you this evening with the latest happenings throughout the country. Before we bring you the details, let's look at some of the top stories that we've lined up for you tonight. Coming up in the next 60 minutes, political scientist Professor Alidu Seidu emerges victorious in NDC Tamale Central Parliamentary by-elections. We'll be bringing you some more details as he succeeds the late MP, Dr. Murtala Mohammed. The brows close.
It is my pleasure to declare Professor Seidu Muhammad Alidu as the candidate-elect for the NDC.
Also coming up tonight, garbage trucks and sewage receptacles to move to nighttime operations as President Mahama moves to prioritize a clean Ghana with National Sanitation Day. We'll bring you more details as Communications Ministry directs National Communication Authority to proceed with the sanctions on DSTV's refusal to reduce prices. Tonight, we'll bring you reactions from DSTV. World Health Organization says it no longer considers Mpox outbreak in Africa to be an international health emergency. We'll bring you more details when we get to our health stories tonight. Now, don't you forget that we'll also be updating you with some stories from our world of sports, and then we'll fill you in with some international news. Be my guest, stay with us as we bring you all these stories and many more. Many thanks for joining us on News Tonight. My name is Kweku Temeng. Let's look at our very first story for the evening, and here concerns over rising cases of examination malpractice in Ghana have resurfaced in Koforidua, where stakeholders say corruption in the education sector is fueling the crisis. Well, they argue that without stronger systems and accountability measures, the integrity of the nation's education will continue to be compromised.
Engagement on rule of law and the fight against corruption, organized by the National Commission for Civic Education, NCC, in New Jabin North Municipality. Students, artisans, and other groups gathered to discuss the impact of corruption on society. Some of the most worrying revelations came from students who say corruption in the education sector is directly linked to widespread examination malpractices and frequent cancellation of examination papers.
More practices, sometimes it's not our fault too. In my hands, they are telling me I'll be writing what's in April. What have I learned? I've not even covered half of my textbook. I'm not saying I'm encouraging it, but it's not the fault of the students some way, somehow. But if there are rules, if there are laws that people are enforcing on us, if you do this, if let's say a school, we meet a student doing this and this and this, the whole school be in trouble, then fine, the management will do something. But this one, that when they cancel the paper, it affects just the individual. So even the school doesn't care. If you do it, if they catch you, you thank your God. If they don't catch you,
and also I think the invigilation should be stricter than it is. Sometimes the police around are just few. So more police officers to intimidate them and prevent them from doing the examination malpractices.
Building system that reduces them instead of increasing them. So I suggest that Ghana also finds a building system and also reduce corruption.
The participants insisted that public awareness campaign alone cannot end the mess. They called for multi-sectorial approach backed by strong institutional systems and punitive actions to root out corruption in schools and beyond.
The WAEC is such a big institution, but they are not able to control their own people. How is it possible that at the end of the day, when students are writing exams, we get questions from nowhere? They are the very own, the enemies are within. They are the people that they should face and punish.
A lecturer at SDA College of Education, Kofi Techi, echoed the call for structural reforms.
What I'm saying is that, you see, as human as we are, if you should leave everyone to do whatever he or she wants, the person will never do the right thing. We are humans. So if we should focus on preaching, do the right thing, do the right thing, do the right thing, no one. Let's build systems, structures. Let's put structures in place which will prevent people from committing crime. I mean, that is it.
The municipal director of NCCE, Ebenezer Champon, added that while strong systems are necessary, changing the mindsets of those who run institutions and citizenry is equally critical.
I think it's great. We need systems in place to help in addressing corruption issues in Ghana. Once there are very good systems in place to check us as people, we will be able to deal with the issue of corruption to a very large extent.
The program, supported by GIZ and co-funded by European Union, is part of efforts to build awareness of civic rights and rule of law and accountability. For GHOne TV, Kojo Ansah.
All right, so let's move on to the aviation industry now. And here, the Ghana Aircraft Accident and Incident Investigation Bureau has reaffirmed its commitment to strengthening aviation safety on the continent. Well, this follows a technical exchange with a visiting Namibian delegation in Accra, where both sides explored collaboration in building modern, resilient, and world-class investigative systems.
Accidents and Incidents Investigation Bureau hosted a Namibian delegation in Accra, highlighting Ghana's growing role as a hub for aviation safety and accident investigation in Africa. Commissioner John Mbem described the visit as a reflection of the continent's collective responsibility to ensure safer skies. He emphasized that collaboration is key, as no country can stand alone in aviation safety.
Such partnerships are not only strategic, but also essential to ensuring that our respective organizations continue to grow in technical competence, operational efficiency, and investigative excellence. We welcome your interest in multimodal evidence management, as this represents the future of integrated safety investigation.
The Namibian team, led by Acting Director Philippine Lundama, came to understudy Ghana's advanced investigation systems, including wreckage analysis facilities, evidence management tools, and technical documentation frameworks.
One of the things that interested us to choose Ghana is your EI from the USOP CMA, and we thought we can learn good from you. Collaboration is very important. We would like to learn to just see a little bit further than where we are standing.
Both institutions are exploring a bilateral memorandum of understanding to strengthen cooperation. They also plan to share expertise beyond aviation, covering multimodal transport investigations such as rail and marine safety. Board chair of the AIB, Daniel Akwa, noted that Ghana continues to attract international recognition for its compliance with ICAO standards.
Talking about current effective implementation of the ICAO standards and recommended practices, Ghana is quite high up there. And with ICAO's slogan of no country left behind, we are always prepared to help our brothers, or more or less other states, also come up.
The Namibian delegation expressed gratitude, describing Ghana as a continental leader in aviation safety and a valuable partner in their efforts to modernize systems back home.
All right, so the Ghana Armed Forces has formally invited the Aircraft Accident and Incident Investigation Bureau, that's AIB, to assist in probing the August 6 helicopter crash that claimed the lives of 2 cabinet ministers and 6 others. Commissioner of the AIB, John Emeb Kunyin-Wumboti, explained that although the Bureau is an internationally certified investigative body, its mandate does not ordinarily cover military aircraft incidents. Well, he clarified this in an interview following the Bureau's engagement with a visiting Namibian delegation here in Accra.
Although the AIB's mandate does not ordinarily extend to military aircraft, Commissioner John Mbed Wamboti says the invitation reflects the need for independent technical expertise.
Aircraft accident investigation, that's AIB here, we don't investigate military aircraft. All over the world, it's not only in Ghana. And so this one that happened, it is the military that is in charge of it, and I keep on telling the public that because of our expertise, the military has invited us and we are part of the investigation. Until that is concluded, we will not be able to speak to it.
The Bureau, which has gained international recognition for its investigative work, will support the military in piecing together evidence that could clarify and prevent similar tragedies in the future.
If you're just joining, this is News Tonight. We now look at other stories as despite weeks of back and forth with government and regulatory agency, MultiChoice Ghana says it has not agreed to reduce DSTV subscription prices. Well, this comes hours to planned shutdown of broadcasting rights and the imposition of a fine for failing to honor a 30% price review for the bouquet subscriptions. While addressing journalists at a press conference in Accra, Minister for Communications, Digital Technology and Innovation, GHOne earlier disclosed that the pay TV provider reached out to the ministry expressing readiness to comply with the government's directive to review its tariffs, while he stressed that the government will not allow a prolonged process, giving the committee step up for a resolution, a strict 14-day mandate, inclusive of weekends, to present a suitable price reduction structure by September 21, 2025.
Ahead of the expiration of the suspension notice tomorrow, MultiChoice yesterday reached out to the ministry and the regulator, indicating now a willingness to comply to address the pricing concerns through a consultative process, as was adopted by the ministry with the MNOs during the data pricing reduction exercise. Consequently, we've taken the decision to immediately establish a stakeholder committee comprising representatives from the Ministry of Communication, Digital Technology and Innovation, the regulator, the NCA, MultiChoice Ghana, and MultiChoice Africa. I will personally chair the committee. MultiChoice has requested a 30-day window for the committee to arrive at what percentage of reduction will be achieved. So let's be clear. They have finally accepted that there will be a reduction. Now they want us to discuss the level of reduction. I believe, as minister, that we do not need 30 days. 14 days is enough for us to reach this decision, inclusive of weekends. Therefore, the committee has a strict 14-day mandate, inclusive of weekends, to conclude its work and present a suitable price reduction structure for the people of Ghana by the 21st of September 2025. The government is mindful that there is currently an acquisition, in this case there is an acquisition, of MultiChoice Africa by the Canal Plus Group by end of September 2025. I have therefore held engagements with Canal Plus and secured their confirmation that they will abide by any agreements that the stakeholder committee we're setting up today reaches with MultiChoice Ghana.
All right, so yes, the minister said MultiChoice had agreed, but is that the situation? Well, MultiChoice Ghana has denied agreeing to reducing DSTV subscription prices, contradicting claims by Minister of Communications, Digital Technology and Innovation, GHOne. Well, in a press statement issued on Friday, September 5, MultiChoice said while it remains committed to dialogue, it has not signed off on any price reduction. Well, the company in a release said they continue to engage with the minister in a bid to find an amicable solution that is beneficial for all parties involved, but does not jeopardize the viability of the DSTV service. Well, DSTV will fully participate in the established working committee. However, they clarified that a multi-choice group has not agreed to a price reduction. The Minister of Communication, Digital Technology and Innovation, Sam Nate George, has issued a stern warning to MultiChoice Ghana, operators of DSTV, that the company's services could be shut down if it fails to commit to reducing subscription prices. Well, in a post on X on Friday, September 5, the minister accused MultiChoice of shifting its stance on price negotiation, describing the company's latest clarification as an act of disrespect. Let's talk now about sanitation, as garbage trucks and septic NTS clogging streets in broad daylight will be a thing of the past, as President John Dramani Mahama says waste collection will now move to the night time. Well, President Mahama explains that septic tanks will also be emptied after dark to keep the cities clean and spare the public the sight and smell during the day. Well, the president made the announcement in Accra at the relaunch of the National Sanitation Day.
Part of the 24-hour economy too, we want to bring regulation so that a lot of the sanitation work and the garbage collection takes place at night. It doesn't make sense when in the morning we have gotten up to go to work and we are in the rush hour traffic, and that's when a baller truck too has gone to collect garbage and is competing with cars on the road. And the worst one is the ones who go and pull that liquid thing. I don't want to spoil your appetite. When they come and empty your cesspit, you know, day-to-day time, you are carrying this thing around, and some of them are not very well maintained, so you can see the flies and you can smell the poo-poo following them. You know, we must do regulation to ensure that they do that at night so that they are not a public nuisance.
All right, so tonight I would want you to join us with your comment. Will this directive help us make your voice held? Join us on our social media platforms, and really we would make the public know of your thoughts as well. The program is News Tonight. We're coming back shortly with updates from our world of business. We'll refresh you with some entertainment news and we'll ensure that you get some sports updates. Do stay with us. We'll be back shortly. Well, thank you very much for choosing GHOne TV. We'll still stay with sanitation. And here, the Metropolitan, Municipal and District Chief Executives will be held responsible for a clean Ghana moving forward. President John Dramani Mahama made this known at the relaunch of the National Sanitation Day. He called for the need to create a system where people are sanctioned for breaking the sanitation bylaws. Well, the president urged parents and caregivers to train children on the importance of courtesy and responsible citizenship, inculcating in children the spirit of cleanliness.
Speaking at the relaunch of the National Sanitation Day, President John Dramani Mahama tasked Metropolitan, Municipal and District Chief Executives and traditional authorities to ensure a cleaner Ghana and announced awards for the cleanest districts, as well as called for sanctions against sanitation lawbreakers.
In every community there is a chief. We can put a sanitation court in the palace of the chief, so that working together with the district assembly, people who are persistent polluters will be brought to those sanitation courts and they'll be given the sanctions that they deserve, so that we can have cleaner communities, cleaner cities, and cleaner towns.
The president again warned that MMDCEs have no excuse to complain about the lack of resources and how sanitations have been handled by them, and called on parents to instill courtesy, responsibility, and cleanliness in children.
Now, MMDCEs, you have no excuse. I directed that 80% of money due to the District Assembly's Common Fund must go directly to the MMDCEs. And so you can't tell me you have an excuse of lack of resources. If you remember when we were inaugurating you, I told the local government minister to tell you that one of your key performance indicators is the cleanliness of your district. It is your number one KPI. And so when we come to assess and evaluate your performance, we're going to look at how you handle sanitation as one of the key performance indicators.
Sector Minister Ahmed Ibrahim noted a dedicated sanitation hotline will be established for citizens to report nuisances directly to the ministry, and also the ministry will maintain a central dashboard to track reports, responses and performance of assemblies to ensure real-time supervision and national oversight.
Environmental sanitation is a shared responsibility that requires consistent and collective action from individuals, stakeholders, communities, and institutions. It is therefore important that every Ghanaian take this responsibility for cleansing their environment. The success of the reintroduced National Sanitation Day hinges on the active participation of all Ghanaians.
Greater Accra Regional Minister Linda Akwele Oklu assured required logistics will be provided for a clean Ghana and raise awareness to sustain the initiative.
I assure you of our full support of the people of Greater Accra. We will engage community, partner with stakeholders, use every channel including traditional and modern to raise awareness and sustain action.
President of the Ghana Journalists Association commended the government for the reintroduction of the National Sanitation Day, which also requires a comprehensive approach and the need to resource all MMDCEs for a sustainable clean Ghana. Minister for Youth Development and Empowerment, George Opari, charged the youth to transform the National Sanitation Day into a national pride. All districts in Ghana are to observe the National Sanitation Day first Saturday of every month. The initiative is themed A Clean Environment, Our Responsibility.
All right, so I'll still stay on sanitation, but this time moving on to the Western region as the municipal Chief Executive for Kweku Municipal Assembly, Abdul Majid Nassam, has lauded the smart turnout to the municipality's sanitation exercise that was planned to tie into the national launch. While His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama, speaking to GHOne TV during the exercise, the ECMA MCE lauded the non-partisan approach by all residents to ensure the exercise becomes a success and revealed that he has assured the environmental unit of the Assembly it's well-resourced with the needed logistics like motorcycles and other equipment, assuring of some human resource recruitment in year 2026 to boost its strength to ensure the municipality remains clean. Well, he also revealed that in a bid to ensure the gains are sustained, the needed enforcement of the Assembly's bylaws will be instituted after the time for sanitation elapses.
This is one unit that I've read through very well. One of the things they lacked was even mobility, how to move around, to monitor what was going on and all of that, and inadequate staff. But for staff, due to budget constraints, I'm looking at somewhere 2026 to get them more hands. But currently, what I've done is that I've retooled them in terms of motorbikes. I'm retooling them in terms of equipment. I'm retooling them in terms of some few motivation stuff that will make them go into the system. And to the community, that's why we are out and doing it with them. Today, we are collecting refuse for free, municipal-wide. So today, at least you have once in every one weekend in every month to come and dispose your waste for free. So we're not expecting to see filth in any home from today. So we are taking it gradually. I've tasked my environmental unit that from today they monitor what goes on for like a week or 2 or 3. Sensitization is going on, and from then the penalty measures will be enforced. We have fines for these people who break the rules of sanitation, and these fines are going to be enforced from the 3rd week or 4th week going forward.
All right, so away from sanitation, let's talk politics now in the northern region. Professor Alidu Seidu, a political scientist, has emerged victorious in the NDC Tamale Central Parliamentary primary, which took place at the Aliu Mahama Sports Stadium in Tamale. Professor Seidu secured 840 votes out of the 1,495 cast, defeating his closest opponent, Alhaji Abdul Hanan Gundao, who received some 536 votes, while the remaining 10 candidates each received fewer than 50 votes, with some polling as low as 3. Only one ballot was rejected, indicating a smooth and peaceful voting process. Well, this landslide victory positions Professor Seidu as a front-runner with strong grassroots support ahead of the 2024 general elections. Meanwhile, Professor Alidu Seidu expressed gratitude to the delegates for electing him as the parliamentary candidate of the NDC, while he pledged to work tirelessly to fulfill the vision and aspirations of the late Member of Parliament, Murtala Mohammed.
Co-aspirants, they have actually conducted this campaign in a very decorous manner. They have been very humble in the way they campaign, very generous in the statements they made, and very reconciliatory, even when they have done things that wasn't deserved. I think the way we have spoken, it is important that we continue with this tone of reconciliation, and then we work together as a party to be able to win the seat for the NDC. Thank you so much.
We'll still do more politics, and the question here is, will Michael Ochri-Befi actually resign? Well, that's a question, that million-city question lingering on the minds of many. Well, for the new GHOne South MP, none knows of his pressure after the Akwatia by-elections fall out. Well, his words were firm. I will resign if MPP loses. But his fate now, perhaps now accepted by his party, sealed. Despite a public apology, a declaration not to run in year 2028. Insiders say, sorry, won't cut it. There's more in this report.
The Akwetia by-election may be over, but the political drama is only just unfolding. Michael Otribefi isn't in trouble for the usual reasons. No secret offshore accounts, no corruption scandal. Just his own words coming back to haunt him. He promised on microphone, in public, with confidence.
I believe that we have a false start. We have a false start in these elections. And confidently, I'm telling you, mark my words, I can even tell you that if we lose this election, I'll resign as a member of parliament. I'm telling you, we'll win these elections. We'll win. If we lose these elections, I'll resign as a member of parliament. I'm telling you, we'll win. By close of day Tuesday, you see that we have won elections. And that's all, because I believe the work we have done and the God we serve. The God we serve is a good God, and he has given us hope that we'll win the election.
A few days later, he watched his side lose.
I, Eric Osu Jamfi, the returning officer of Akwetia constituency, declare Bernard Bediaku Bedu as MP-elect for Akwetia constituency. Thank you very much.
Now, instead of clearing his desk, Befi has launched what can only be described as a national apology tour. Think less resignation letter, more sorry 2024, with a strong set list of regret.
I had no option than to encourage my people. The team said, we are winning these elections. And until make his statement said, if I will lose, I'll resign. Not because on the ground, there's nowhere there was an election we lose.
But critics aren't buying the concert tickets. NDC's Deputy IT and Elections man, Rashid Tanko Computer. Yes, the man is literally called Computer. He says the resignation is key to ensuring that Ghanaians take politicians seriously.
We're not accepting the apology. He must resign. Michael Befi will come to his constituency. We are going to test apology. Is that what we are saying, honorable members? When you are called honorable, everything of you must be honorable. A gentleman made a categorical statement. I will resign. Let us go and test their strength in that constituency and see whether that is a strong hold of the MPP. That's why you could stand and say he will resign. He was here with us. We are going to hold him. If he doesn't resign, we will write to the Speaker of Parliament. And he must apologize in the floor of Parliament so that the whole public will see who he is, so that they know that certain activities of people like that should not be countenanced by Ghanaians.
The Eastern Regional MPP Secretariat, however, has Otribefi's back. They basically say political promises are like a midnight bundle in Ghana. Strong at dawn, gone after.
Let me synchronize with what Honorable Okujeto said, that he will resign if the current president pick a private jet or fly with a private jet. He hasn't resigned. I think he has issued a communique apologizing to the public for his comments. So we'll take it like that. There are people who have said a lot of worse things that they are still in Parliament. The communication minister is even one of them. So I don't think he should be tied to whatever he said. It's a political comment that he made.
On the streets of Akwetia, residents are divided. Some want Befi gone, others just don't care, so long as someone finally patches their potholes.
The statement made by the Honourable Member of Parliament, Honourable Befi, is unwise, irresponsible and reckless. As an honourable member of Parliament, you don't need to make such statements. Knowing very well the MPP was going to lose that election, he should even resign and move out of Parliament.
Hold him to his ways, because I believe everyone should be accountable for his actions, and then whatever you say, you should be accountable to that.
You have to resign because in Ghana, excuse me to say, some of our leaders, they are not serious with their ways. Because they are the leaders. We are following them. In anything that they do, we learn from them. So right now, when you say something like this and you say you are sorry, that sorry is not enough.
I think we should forgive him because, the only person who keeps promise and fulfills them is Jesus Christ. And so he being a human being, I think we should forgive him. People talk out of desperation sometimes, and when the reality catch up with them, they know that.
Still, The NPP has officially accepted Befi's apology. The party's General Secretary, Justin Frimpong Kodia, praised it as rare humility. For his part, Befi vows he won't run again if Ghana's elections remain money-soaked, which frankly means he won't be around for a very long time. So for now, Befi keeps his seat, his job, and his apology tour. And if political promises were actually money, Ghana would already own Dubai, London, and maybe, just maybe, a small piece of Mars.
Well, this is News Tonight. We're grateful that you're still with us. Let's bring you some more local stories as 5 out of 6 families under the Agbawe family of La have been credited with portions of land after the government released 40% of the Amrahia dairy farm lands to them. Well, the beneficiary communities are Amrahia, Oyarifa, Damfa, Kweku, Solomon, Edmond, and Odampton. Well, the Agbawe Manche, Mi Ye Mini Aba, Ni Ajay Osuo Oweni II explained the circumstances under which the lands were shared and assured the people had it is a safe place to be.
Farmland was acquired by the government through Executive Instrument 1970 for dairy production. The dairy farms operated fully for 30 years before being abandoned. Then, Alodil owners petitioned the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources for compensation. After a series of meetings and on-site inspections, the ministry decided to retain 60% of the land, including all properties and installations from the Ministry of Agriculture. The families were offered the remaining 40% in lieu of compensations as per a letter dated November 25, 2024 and signed by the then Minister, Kweku Asomatreme. Per this release from the ministry, the beneficiaries, the 6 communities except Oyarifa, took their share. The Agbawe Manche shared the circumstances under which the land was shared and assured the beneficiaries of an incident-free period.
Africa said, Oyarifa, governments ignayin Agbawe, the Agbawe Itojila. Wakaji agmeno kuitwana kebe la sanaje ni atwe ni wele bale na keba makesi mepi ebotimi ni amenho keni bi ni amebe na kan hegbe we afi na agba iwo ina bufoku ni ochi wo bank IGP wo kla agba sanife ni kohi ekewu keji na kan ba ha wo the officers kemen ni regional commander Kadintan Commander ke Ekotesi the Director of Operations Kagbene Anti-Language Director Lehuni Amewawo ni Onyashe Ospona.
He also urged encroachers to approach the rightful owners for regularization.
Chipo Agbawe ma no ni Agbawe me di minister ni ame administer. Ofia mo ni ahun ko alu etogbe phone no ko ni ka ahun ko wolele. Alo many are here. They may Nissan Home Spawn Hammer, Dama Ama here. If they were Asawa, the minister, or Monica G. Small, they would make Kuku no national. In a can be found be that spawn. To one of Kabukuya court low, I used to go that before Uncle spawn, I can call it, or court here was spawn in Cassie, or could you like all his spoke, or bear him again. Atubediano, could you morning? We are to about tomorrow in the Bofulu branches must come back.
The family head of Awuawe, Ni Awua Okpoti Paulo, also welcomed the decision to release the lands to the families.
Mingbla Mobaba, Ejake, Shipon, Ma Shipon, Monea Honko, Monea Honko, Yamfa for Mobini. Shimum, Jake Papa no Ametron, Namekete Ameka home. One agbene ma wi tishin ye ni wo la keton la imeji ni na me ye agbawu ye mi ke wo agbawu manche ni ji ye mi na aba ni le hun ewie mu ni etwane awo na efe na agbako be
All right, so let's talk education now, as the Deputy Minister for Education, Dr. Clement Apak, has urged stakeholders to uphold inclusivity and fairness in government-assisted and private mission schools to strengthen the country's education system. While speaking at the launch of the National Memorandum of Understanding here in Accra, he emphasized the need for collective action to prevent incidents of discrimination in such schools. Mary Appiah was there for GHOne News. She's filed this report.
National Memorandum of Understanding aims at fostering cohesion, unity and diversity in government-assisted and private mission schools. Deputy Minister of Education, Dr. Clement Apak, urged stakeholders to promote inclusivity and fairness to strengthen Ghana's education system. He stressed that the MOU is crucial in preventing a recurrence of past unfortunate incidents linked to faith-related issues, some of which tragically claimed students' lives.
Diversity is beautiful. We must celebrate our diversity rather than see it as a point of departure. We will synthesize all stakeholders and the general public, and we will get everybody's buy-in, because this is the right thing to do. A Christian child in a Muslim school should not feel intimidated, should not feel disrespected. The opposite should be true. A Muslim child in a Christian school should not feel left out, should not feel intimidated, and should not feel discriminated against. We have always coexisted.
On his part, Minister for Interior Muntaka Mohammed emphasized the importance of raising awareness among stakeholders to ensure effective implementation of the MOU. He noted that this would promote mutual respect and deepen understanding of religious diversity in schools.
There is a need to raise awareness among all stakeholders: government, religious missions, schools administrators, teachers, students and communities on the purpose of the guideline. Let us teach our children not only to excel academically, but also to live harmoniously with others. The government remains steadfast in its commitment to promoting peace and social cohesion across all sectors of our society. We pledge our continued support through the ministries and agencies, as well as through government programs, to ensure that the Memorandum of Understanding is not only implemented, but becomes a living document. Let us renew our commitment to build a Ghana where every child, regardless of their religious background, can thrive in an environment of mutual respect and understanding.
National President of the Conference of Managers of Education Units, Reverend Thomas Kofi Abo, explained that the MOU serves as a guide to ensure greater tolerance and harmony among faith-based schools.
This has to do with mission schools, and you recall that from time past we've had a lot of challenges in schools like Adisada College, Wesley Girls Senior High, and we as managers of the mission schools, sometimes it becomes a headache. There was a need to call on government and also on the National Peace Council to see what we can do together to ensure that there is a certain blueprint which will guide religious practices and tolerance on our campuses. This MOU touches on issues of policies in school, issues of dressing, places of worship, and all the Islamic Ahmadiyya missions, the Christian missions, and the regimental schools have come together to fashion out these ethics that will guide how we tolerate each other's religion on our campuses.
A nationwide sensitization program is also expected to be rolled out to educate stakeholders on the provisions of the MOU and its roles in promoting inclusivity in faith-based schools.
All right, so let's now do more, as despite decades of underfunding, uncompleted infrastructure, and limited resources, and the hospital has remained a pillar of care. So these were the words of the acting chief executive of the Mental Health Authority, Dr. Eugene Komladodo, reflecting on the resilience of Ghana's mental health sector at the launch of the Pantan Psychiatric Hospital's 50th anniversary. Well, he praised the past and present staff for their sacrifices while urging the nation to place mental health at the center of development.
Years of service, resilience and sacrifice, Pantan Psychiatric Hospital has weathered enormous challenges to remain a cornerstone of mental health care in Ghana. At the anniversary launch, acting CEO of the Mental Health Authority, Dr. GHOne Dodoi, saluted the dedication of staff, past and present, who have delivered care through decades of limited funding, dilapidated facilities and overstretched resources.
These pillars cannot stand without funding. We want to build our capacity to meet not only today's needs, but also tomorrow's emergencies. We want a well-trained workforce, which for us is the strongest defense against the rising tide of mental illness.
Dr. Dodoi warned that without investing in mental health, Ghana risks weakened productivity and slower development.
Mental health is not outside the national agenda at all. The current resetting of the nation with a big push in healthcare gives us an unprecedented opportunity for mental health not be an afterthought. Without it, we have lowered productivity and we cannot make wealth.
Acting Director of the hospital, Dr. Yenison Malog, called for support to repurpose the hospital.
It's our expectation that the 50th anniversary celebration will provide the impetus for the transformation of Pantan Hospital for the benefit of all Ghanaians. I therefore call on His Excellency, the President of the Republic, to cause a redesign and remodeling of Pantan Hospital so we can have a modern psychiatric facility to meet and stand the test of time.
As Pantan turns 50, Dr. Dodoi called for a new era, one where mental health is not an afterthought, but a central pillar of national development.
Away from Pantan, let me take you to the northern part of the country, where the annual spillage of the Bagre Dam continues to pose threats to communities along the White Volta. Well, during a working visit to the confluence of Galaka in the Boko West District, the Deputy Director General in charge of the operations at NADMO, Teddy Adi Safori, announced plans to establish a research committee aimed at finding a lasting solution to the recurring challenge.
The Bagre Dam spill has become an annual catastrophe, with previous years documenting widespread destruction. The 2018 spillage claimed 17 lives, submerged 75,607 farms, and impacted over 81,500 individuals across more than 680 communities. This year's flood reignited fears of food insecurity and recurring displacement cycles. Experts argue that Ghana's reliance on flood alert alone isn't enough. Proposals, including building retention basins across the White and Black Volta and enforcing zoning regulations, remain a priority each spillage season. The Deputy Director General of Operations at the National Disaster Management Organization, Teddy Adi Safori, says it is time to ensure a lasting solution.
It's always been we coming to see what we can be able to do to assist the community, to assist the farmers in here. But today I decided to come with a team myself to try and do a research into what we can do in the future. What are some of the things that we've been doing over the years that we think we can do differently? I believe from today we're going to set up a committee that's going to have a very hefty research to see what we can be able to do, if not to always prevent this, at least to do what we call control spillage.
Speaking at Galaka in Sapalega, where the Bagre and Kumpienga dams meet, he disclosed that NADMO intends to provide agriculture support to farmers along the White Volta, enabling them to harvest early before the waters are released.
Where we can be able to let them produce crops that they can harvest 2 or 3 months even before the spillage. I believe if that is done, it would enable our farmers to get their crops and it would save lives as well.
He further advised residents to stay away from the dam site until the final spillage is completed.
So if you're just joining us, this is News Tonight. At this point, we'll move on and bring you updates from our world of business.
The Business Brief is brought to you by CompuGhana, passion for technology.
In business tonight, the Chief Executive Officer of MTN Group, Ralph Mupita, has underscored the importance of spectrum as a critical enabler of Africa's digital future, particularly in empowering services such as cloud computing, artificial intelligence, and low latency applications across industries like mining, logistics, and manufacturing. While speaking at the MTN Bright Conversation, Mr. Mupita warned that artificial intelligence is a foundational technology of the future. Well, Africa cannot afford to be left behind in the global AI revolution.
The MTN Group CEO has called on the government to implement firm spectrum policies that encourage investment and fast-track Ghana's digital growth. He noted that while MTN already operates 5G in major markets, Ghana remains the only one without it. Discussions with regulators on spectrum allocation, however, are ongoing.
There's 1.2 billion Africans, mostly in sub-Saharan Africa, who have hopes and aspirations for a better life and a better future. We figured that we can play a part in enabling that by building the digital economy, the infrastructure of the digital economy, by allowing people to have 3G, 4G connectivity, and then we'll put services on top. That gives us energy. And you get the energy from the impact that you're having. If you are having impact in whatever you're doing, it gives you energy back.
Mr. Mupita said MTN Group is planning beyond 2025 with a strong focus on building digital infrastructure services capable of transforming livelihoods for Ghanaians and Africans at large.
We are reinforcing that the future of MTN is 3 distinct businesses within MTN: a connectivity business, a fintech business, and digital infrastructure business. And within the context of a connectivity business, there's a very exciting opportunity now we're seeing around the home. We think the next big thing that is out there, a need that we have to satisfy, is connect as many Ghanaians, as many Africans with home connectivity that is of the highest quality possible.
He further revealed that MTN is partnering with global institutions, deploying advanced AI tools for threat detection, and strengthening systems for customer identity verification and anti-money laundering. While fraudulent transactions remain minimal compared to overall volumes, he stressed that MTN will never relent in fortifying its defenses.
Well, let's bring you more business as a new wave of opportunity has opened for rural women in northern Ghana. Well, the GIZ, in partnership with the German Federal Ministry for Economic Cooperation and Development, has launched the Women in Apiculture projects. Well, the initiative seeks to empower women through beekeeping, offering sustainable income, food security, biodiversity, and conservation.
Low input activity that not only generates income but also boosts biodiversity and enhances crop yields through pollination. Yet, many rural women in Ghana face barriers to modern tools, resources, and structured markets. The Women in Apiculture project, spearheaded by GIZ and supported by the German Federal Ministry for Economic Cooperation and Development, is bridging this gap. Women and stakeholders have been trained in sustainable beekeeping as an alternative livelihood in the Upper East region, unlocking new pathways for rural enterprise. Head of Component Investment for Jobs at GIZ, Eunice GHOne, underscored the project's significance for rural women.
Today, the Women in Agriculture project is being launched under the special initiative Decent Work for a Just Transition of the German Federal Ministry for Economic Cooperation and Development, and we operate under the Grammy Invest for Jobs. The project is designed to empower rural women by supporting their entry and growth in the apiculture value chain. Beekeeping a very smart, climate smart and low input activity that does not only generate income but also supports biodiversity and improves crop skills through pollination.
A local partner, Honey Palace Africa Limited, expressed gratitude for the value added to honey production in northern Ghana.
So we are looking at tackling rural poverty because they farm only 3 months or 4 months maximum, and they sit at home for the next 8 months or 9 months without doing anything. That's why we introduced the beekeeping. It's an all-year-round income-generating activity.
The Katsina-Nankana West District Chief Executive, Stephen Akurogo, reaffirmed the government's support for women-led agribusinesses, describing them as central to government's development agenda.
When we work with women, we encourage resources and opportunities. We are investing in the future of our families, our communities, and our nations.
Traditional rulers also urged the women to seize this opportunity to fight poverty and dismantle stereotypes in their communities.
If you embrace this project to yourself as an individual from the poor community, you will live successful.
As part of the initiative, GIZ handed over 1,000 Kenya top bar hives, beekeeping toolkits, and 1,600 bags of organic compost to women-led enterprises in the Katsina-Nankana and Sisala zones, marking a bold step towards sustainable livelihoods for rural women in northern Ghana.
Still bringing you business in northern Ghana. The high cost of farm inputs is driving cowpea farmers to seek more innovative, chemical-free farming solutions. Well, although genetically modified cowpea variety Songotra T has been introduced to help control pests like Moruca vitrata, farmers continue to face challenges with other insects. Well, they are urging the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, Savannah Agricultural Research Institute, we're talking about CSIR SARI, to enhance their efforts to addressing these issues. Well, according to the farmers, it will reduce the use of chemicals as well as the cost and allow for the use of chemical-free animal feed.
Since the commercial release of the genetically modified PBR cowpea, also known as Songotra T, by CSIR SARI, many farmers in northern Ghana have praised its benefits, which include reduced pesticide use and improved yields. This modified variety has enabled farmers to cut down their chemical sprays from 8 applications to just 2. Although certain pest control methods have proven effective, farmers report that crops continue to attract leaf-eating insects. This not only hampers plant growth, but also reduces the availability of chemical-free leaves for animal feed. During an open forum on agricultural biotechnology in Africa Field Day event, some cowpea farmers told journalist Noah Nash that the cost of purchasing chemicals remains a significant burden. They are now calling on scientists to develop even more advanced technologies that could eliminate the need for spraying altogether.
They have done well for us, for giving us this twice spray. And we are willing to add to them, or to advise them, or to add them more, that they should try as much as possible to let us get one spray, so that insects will go away and leave our cowpea for us. That is why we are asking for more and more technology for reducing the cost of this and the spray, and so that it will come down for us to get a sufficient yield from our farm.
Responding to the concerns, Dr. Gloria Adazabra, cowpea breeder with CSIR SARI, acknowledged the farmer's plea. She noted that while it's possible to eliminate chemical sprays entirely, the cost and complexity of such technological solutions must be carefully considered.
You have to look at the economics of whatever is happening. Will it be beneficial to the wider audience or wider community to have a total elimination of spraying? It is not something that we are completely removing out of the picture, but we'll always look at the cost of deploying technology. Sometimes there are certain trends that are more devastating than the current problems that you will have. So we are doing research into all possibilities. It could be conventional, it could be technologically based solutions.
Dr. Adazibra.
All right, so that's all we have for you in business. Up next is sports.
The Business Brief was brought to you by CompuGhana, passion for technology.
All right, so in sports tonight, captain of the Black Ghana arm wrestling team, Edward Yamwa Asamoah, says the team's recent exploits at the African Arm Wrestling Championship in Nigeria was not easy, but was a fulfilling one. Captain Asamoah, who was speaking to EIB Sports, is hoping to get support from the corporate Ghana to boost their chances of qualification to the next African Games.
Abuja wasn't easy. We didn't get it easy at all on our road trip to Abuja. God being so good, we went there and we came back safely. We won our medals and we are all happy. It means a lot. To me, I'm happy. I know my team members too are happy. And we are hoping that we'll get support from our big men from this country, corporate Ghana. They'll come to our aid concerning our next championship. That will be next year. And also, that will be a qualifier for the All-African Games in 2027.
All right, so that's about all we have for you in sports for tonight. But that's also the end of the bulletin. Thank you very much for staying with us. My name is Kweku Temeng. Enjoy the rest of the programs that we have for you. A very good evening to you.